State ready to kick off to get this game started. The returner will field it and try to get some field position. The coverage team maintains his discipline, not much doing on that return. So the Ole Miss Rebels offense will get the football first. Hotty-toddy, gosh almighty, who the heck are they? Well, everybody knew it. Ole Miss blew out State last time.
And they put a number up on them. Everything was clicking, yes, and the Egg Bowl is always close. It seems like those games come down to something crazy. But last year, Hotty-toddy put the smack down.
Yeah, it was Hotty-toddy that was able to just handle the emotion in that game right from jump. I mean, offensively, they jumped all over the Bulldogs early. That's going to be a big key for them again, I think, this time around.
And the Rebels with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. From the gun, they'll give it on the inside. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Now on 1st and 10 from the 29. He wants to change this route.
Get some points on the board. Here we go. Shadow.
Pass rush, gets there, gets home, gets him down at the 23. The Rebels trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Dropping back, it's Alexander. Throws to the tight end. And that pass will be jarred loose on 2nd down. That brings up 3rd down.
The big tight end tries to make a catch, and you can tell he extends for the ball, but great job by the defender getting in there, making the hit, dislodging the football out at the same time as he's going to catch it, and the big tight end couldn't hold on to it.
Makes the grab. It's Watkins. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few.
You got to love that. On defense, one of the most critical statistics out there is how do you play on 3rd down? How do you prevent the opponent from keeping drives alive? Right there, tackling the catch. You gave up the completion. Whoop-de-doo. You set up 4th and long. You're going to get the ball back. Go get some water and celebrate.
On 4th down, they'll pass for it. And it's incomplete, and this defense makes a 4th down stop. So Mississippi State's offense has its first opportunity of the day. And they're going to have to contend with a secondary that is one of the best in the nation.
And they're a complete secondary, too. When you watch them on film, they're very good defending the pass and coverage, and they can play man and zone. But I like them, David, because they're not afraid to put their face in the fan. Everybody in the back end likes to tackle and likes to be physical. That's what makes them special.
Yeah, and it's just an elite group in the back end. Multiple guys that win their individual matchups, which makes it hard to run offense. And this is a group that, yes, they tackle well, they see the football well, they break on it well. You better worry about the ground game. You better get some kind of deception going against this secondary.
Reads it, fires complete. Touchdown, Bulldog. Nice catch and good work afterwards to get it into the end zone.
One of the reasons this offense is so exciting to watch, they've got guys that are dangerous after the catch. And if this quarterback gets through his progression, David, hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running. I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy, the connection between quarterback, wide receiver. You can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
Following Ole Miss' 1926 victory in Starkville, a melee between the fans ensued. Imagine that in this rivalry. So the two sides got together and said, what we need is a trophy to calm the passions of each side, and they settled on the Golden Egg. Thus, the Egg Bowl was born.
Yeah, what calms everybody down more than a golden egg?
Breaks into the open. And the explosiveness, the big gainer gets it to the 49-yard line.
Well, that's why this running game can be so dynamic. This guy is special when he has the football in his hands. He can make people miss, he can run with power, and he also has speed. You saw it on that last play.
And the Rebels, after exploding for that huge run, back to work. Back to pass, it's Alexander. He's going for it. action on the long shot. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Backed up now, here's second and long. After the incompletion, back to the passing game. Makes the grab on the left. He's close to the first down, but they're going to mark him just a little short.
You know, and that's why this guy can play first, second, and third down. You've already seen him earlier in the drive rip off some nice runs, but he can catch the football as well. They're going to find ways to get him going in all sorts of ways, but you're seeing it specifically on this drive.
He's going to look for a man on third and short. Grab near the sticks. It's Cunningham. Russell out of bounds at the 12, and another productive play on this drive. Third down, a lot of times it comes down to not necessarily who's the most open, who do you trust the most.
No, it's not about the X's and the O's. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. And when my guy's better than you and I get you matched up out wide, and I know I trust you, I'm finding you.
He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Wants to keep it in the air. Gets it out fast. They get it down to the 7 on that pass play, in prime position for a score.
I like the decision by the quarterback here. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it to your playmaker. A lot of times he'll dance and make even bigger plays than he did here, but it was still a positive game.
Boy, they'd love to pick up this conversion and go to work with a first and goal.
Let's go.
Looking to throw, it's Alexander. Touchdown, Rebels! Right in the window for the score. That dude's really big. How in the world did they lose him?
Just down here, he does a lot of blocking. You play a lot of man coverage in the red zone. And what do? Peek in the backfield, and you lose the big fella. I don't know how he lost that big of a guy, but he lost him.
Looking for the tie with the extra point. And they pick up the extra point. Kicker knocked it right down the middle. So it's a 73-yard touchdown drive. And they close the deal with the 7-yarder for the score. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the Bulldog offense back onto the field. They stuck the last drive in the end zone. They'll try to follow suit here. Wants to throw on first down. With the catch, it's Williams. Out across the 40 and forced out of bounds at the 42. And now this offense is clicking. One big play, and now they've got it at the 42-yard line on first down. Wants to go up top on first down. And here's a fumble way behind the line. Defense got it, they're on the run. Touchdown, Ole Miss! This defense making a big play, putting it in the end zone.
It's really hard as a quarterback because you got your eyes downfield, you're trying to find an open guy, you're trying to negotiate the rush, and all of a sudden people are swatting at the ball. They hit you, they knock it out. You got to do a better job next time of keeping 2 hands on the ball so you don't get it scooped and scored like what happened right there.
PAT unit on the field. And the PAT gives them a 14-7 lead. The scoop and score. What a lift it can give to the defense. Not content to get the ball. They wanted to do something with it, and they did. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Mississippi State offense headed back to the field to go to work. This feels like one of those games you might have to answer every score, already down 14-7. Off the play fake on first down to throw. Fires to the big fella. That one can really put this drive into high gear as they have a first down at the 37.
And that's why play action is going to be big in this game. You saw how it just frees the second level of that defense just for a second and allowed the tight end to work himself vertically down the field. But how about this guy after the catch, right? So hard to bring down. What a weapon.
They'll run play action. 18 of those this season. Just a short return, but that would have been icing on the cake. They've got it first down at the 42.
Some defensive backs just have a way of finding the football. He's starting to develop that. His third interception on the season just has a good feel for playing that spot in the back end.
Ole Miss ready to send the offense onto the field. The early scripts have worked trying to add to this 14-7 lead. Snag in the middle. It's Watkins. They get him come out, but not until he's in the red zone. They'll mark it up to 14.
Man, this offense is so dangerous, Reese. They've got dudes all over the field that can make plays. There's a big gainer in the pass game.
You get a chunk of yards like that, now the defense is really on its heels. He's got it. He gets it.
Well, this offense is top 10 in the country in points per game because they've got a lot of speed. They've got home run hitters. They score fast. They don't need 10 plays to go down the field. You saw it right there. They've recruited well. They've got playmakers. They are going to be a problem for defenses all year long.
And he made the extra point without problem. They're ready to kick it away, and this crowd is buzzing after that last score. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the Mississippi State offense, ready to attack. Quickly trailing by 2 touchdowns, down 21-7, and really important to get something out of this drive. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Hit hard just as he released it on first down and just couldn't get it to the receiver. Guys, let's talk a little bit about Mississippi State. It has been a season to forget, and honesty compels us to say changes are probably coming.
I'm not sure, but I think Reese Davis just fired a coach. Is that what I heard? I'm pretty sure that's what just happened. Listen, hasn't gone well. You've heard the outside noise, continuing to get louder and louder, haven't met expectations. And this is the business we live in college sports, when you get paid a lot of money to do a job and you don't perform.
Listen, at the end of the day in college football, it's results-oriented. They've lost football games this year, and so all signs right now pointing to them potentially making that change before next season. If they're going to stay competitive.
And the defense got him at the 27.
Telling the coaches before the game, they wanted to start fast. This offense, man, not only have you not put it together, the defense hasn't either. This game has gotten away from them early. They need to do a better job of protecting their quarterback.
And the Bulldogs with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. Second down, they'll go to the air. Throwing right. And it was worth going for a chunk play, but the long pass is incomplete.
This is going to be a key that we look at this entire game. How can this defense find ways to affect this quarterback and get pressure on him? Because they felt coming into the game, if they could do that, they could affect him and influence this passing game.
Throws to the wideout. On target to the left. He gets it up to the 37-yard line, and let's see if they're willing to gamble on fourth down. Mississippi State will roll out the punt unit. Getting our first look of the afternoon at the punter. First one is away, and boy, did he put in work in that loss last week, kicking it 5 times. And he's still running after the move. Look at that toughness, just running through everybody. Touchdown, Ole Miss, stealing a score on special team. He did that one all by himself. Make a few guys miss, turn on the afterburners, and boom,
takes it back to the house, makes people miss, turn it on the gas. Great job, great return.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And they knock through the extra point, and they're up 28-7. So his big play capability was on full display in that one as he took that punt back for the touchdown. Fielded in the end zone. It's Gresham. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. Here comes the Bulldog offense back onto the field. That last drive won't go on the highlight reel after ending in a punt. They'd like to be more productive this time, David.
And I think this offense has to be a little bit more balanced. Find a little balance between the run, Jesse, and working in that pass.
And I think, too, David, it's just going to take a spot.
And he's all fired up, and now it's worse. The ball's loose. Defense has it on the move. Touchdown, Rebels. The defense putting points on the board.
Well, the defense is winning this game, and they are helping out their own cause. That's the second time they've recovered a fumble and taken it in for a touchdown. You know they're opportunistic, and they pride themselves on being athletic and being physical, but you can't make mistakes against this unit, and it has absolutely killed this team early in this game.
And right down the middle. Kickoff unit getting some extra work as this lead has really grown. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The Mississippi State offense headed back to the field to go to work. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Intercepted. A first half turnover can swing momentum. Picked up a few extra on that return, but what a play by this defense to get the football. From the gun, the ground game. Tackle is made at the 28 after a pickup of 3. As they get set to snap it, just about to reach the end of the quarter. Looking to pass, it's Alexander. Under fire. And the pressure is going to get to him, and down he goes, and that's how the first quarter will end. We have the early makings of a quarterback duel, as these stats will show you. Just about ready to get things started here in the second. We'll see if they continue to flex that muscle. This offense had a little extra time to think about it. Let's see what they have on third down. Now the play fake. Under fire. He took a hit as he threw it and couldn't deliver the football. It's incomplete, and fourth down's coming.
Great job by the defense dialing up some pressure on third down. They hit the quarterback and forced the incompletion.
They might need a telescope to find the first down marker, but they'll go for it on fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Sends it downfield. Makes a catch. First down and maybe a lot more. Huge play there into plus territory, and they'll mark him out of bounds at the 46. The Rebels with the 1st and 10. Looking to throw on first down. Makes the grab. It's Cunningham. Across the 25. He's got room. Inside the 15. Out of bounds at the 14-yard line. The offense looking for a score.
Man, we knew coming into this game just how explosive this offense could be. And a big part of that is their ability to throw the football. They've scored a ton of points, and it's because they can generate plays like that. When this quarterback sees the one-on-one matchup he wants, he is not afraid to pull the trigger, and he hits a big throw there.
Catch in the middle. It's Clemens. So close to that end zone. He could almost taste it, but it'll be first and goal for this offense.
This offense has become a first down machine, and that is so demoralizing for the defense, especially for those star players that are playing tons of snaps. They're not subbing out as much. By the fourth quarter, they are going to be gassed.
Now on the option. Now the toss. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Great job by the back on the option.
Defense has to do a better job of their assignment football, trying to slow this option play down. Someone has to account for the dive, the quarterback, and the pitch man. That time they were missing the pitch man outside. That's why he scored.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And they add the extra point to finish the drive. They already have the lead, and they apparently want more here in the first half, going for the onside kick. That's why they call them the hands team. They're able to secure the onside kick.
And you don't see a lot of these. You don't see a lot of onside kicks earlier in the game, especially in the second quarter. You still feel each other out. You're still getting into the game. You don't want to give away that momentum, but that's exactly what they did by failing on that onside kick.
Split backs here. Behind the line, it's Singleton. So many rich layers in this one. Dak coming off the bench. Fumbles in the end zone to lose it. Legs being hiked. Coaches being fired. This has it all, guys.
And such proud people in the state of Mississippi that love their football. And it feels like, Palmer, these games always come down to something at the end of the game that's so fun and controversial.
What I love about this rivalry, too, is that historically there hasn't been a lot of conference championship implications or national title implications, but they play this game at the very end of the year, and it just matters so much in the state. Bragging rights for an entire season on the line.
On third and short, they'll try to throw for it. Can't find the man, and he'll be knocked down at the 40.
What a great job by this defense setting the tone early. In the first half, they've been hitting the quarterback early and often. Make him feel uncomfortable. Make him feel that pressure. Keep getting him on the ground. That's why they built a lead.
And they'll pat the kicker on the tail and tell him to go give it a shot. He's going to have to break out the thunderfoot on this one, a 57-yard attempt. And he's got it from 57. What a beauty.
How nice is it as a head coach to have a kicker like this? It makes these decisions on fourth down so much easier. Just strut him out there and let him stroke it through the uprights.
After putting up the field goal, they're set to kick it away. Bounces through the end zone. It's a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. The Ole Miss offense ready to go back to work. This offense has really been clicking in the game so far, Jesse.
No doubt. Everything their play caller is dialing up, these guys offensively have been able to go out and execute, David.
Yeah, and it's just maintaining the lead. Keep doing what you've been doing. You got a big lead. Let's just keep piling on until they find an answer.
Gets it across the 30 to the 31. A pickup of 5.
And after having a nice game like that on first down, if you're the offensive coordinator here, maybe you're thinking about being aggressive and taking a shot. Because even if it's incomplete on second down, on third, you won't have that long to go.
Catch in the middle. It's Cunningham. Gets it to
quarterback, seeing the receiver come over, getting him the football, making the first down, and they like to do this. When they make a first down, they want to go fast. They want to crank up the tempo.
To the air, it's Alexander. On the run, fires downfield. Complete to the right. They are finding soft spots in this defense. He's got it down to the 25.
It feels like everything this play caller has called has worked so far in this first half of the offense. They've generated a really nice lead, lighting up the scoreboard, and they're staying aggressive. They're throwing the football. They're dictating everything right now to the defense.
Looking to throw on first down. He's got his man.
One of the things you love about this running back is not only can he run between the tackles, but he's also a weapon in this offense, catching the football.
They'll go up top on second and short. It's complete to the left. They'll get it down to the 10-yard line on that completion.
Man, this defense, they have got to get better in coverage if they want to get off the field anytime soon. You keep defending like that, this offense might hang 50 on you by the end of the game.
With the run on first and goal. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play.
And on that play on the RPO, they had the look they wanted, but up front, they just could not get the job done. You see linemen losing their one-on-one battles. There was nowhere for that running back to go.
Back's going for the goal line. That completion will take it inside the 4, and the offense is threatening. The defense trying to make a stand on third and goal. Gets it out quickly. And he strides his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Rebels!
Every time we speak to defenses before they play this guy, they all know he's going to get the ball thrown his way. They always come up with creative and exotic ways to try to cover him in the back end, but they're never able to get it done. This guy just beats coverage time and time again. And with that last catch, that's now his 15th receiving score of the season.
This is ultra-aggressive. Still in the first half. Got the lead and going for the onside kick. Not much drives more anxiety than waiting to see if the hands team can corral the onside kick, and they do. Here comes the Mississippi State offense ready to attack. These guys have taken some body blows in the first half, but now a chance to do something to feel a little better going into halftime.
Reese, they got to respond now. They got to put points on the board right here, cut into this deficit, create a little bit of momentum, because this one's going to get out of hand otherwise.
Yeah, there are a lot of offenses out there that might just say, okay, let's just regroup and figure it out. This offense doesn't have time to do that. They've got to be aggressive. They've got to throw it downfield. They've got to score points.
The Bulldogs come to the line. This situation, you might see a shot play. The give to the tailback. And how about that play by that giant, that mountain of a man on the defensive front? This is the type of play that decides games. Are you tough enough to convert third and short from the 30? Fires to the tight end. Offenses gain momentum with third down conversions like that. They've got it at the 25.
Obviously, great job picking up the first down there through the air, but you're trailing by a lot of points now, and you're in that area of the field where you should take a shot. If I was the offensive coordinator, I'd be thinking about throwing this next one into the end zone and trying to cut into the lead.
Just too much heat that time, and they knock him down at the 31.
Boy, this defense is ridiculous. On point, they know how to rush the passers. Multiple guys getting it done. 5 sacks, and we are still in the first half.
Ready up.
They've already racked up big sack numbers. It's starting to snowball, and they are ready to go again. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
I think the offensive coordinators over there going, thank goodness we don't play them every week. This defense has been suffocating. This offense got to find something moving forward that they can hang their hat on, some kind of identity. Today they were But listen, there's a game next week, right? Like, got to continue to find what it is that makes this team go, that makes them tick, that makes them get first downs and hopefully move the football.
And the third down pass is incomplete.
This is a disappointing drive for the offense, considering where this drive started, in their opponent territory. Now you're 4th and long. You've got to be better throwing the football in those types of situations.
Oh, he missed it. No good. I guess the idea was to chip away at a big lead. Consider the lead not chipped away at. Ole Miss ready to send the offense onto the field. They've got some time to work with here, Jesse, and if they get a first down, they might really get aggressive.
I'd be aggressive right out of the gate. I'd be throwing for a first down. If I get it, then it's pedal to the metal. I'm in that 2-minute mode to try to score a touchdown or get a field.
But I do think this is a situation where you also have to understand that I have the lead going into the half. I've got the momentum, so don't do anything stupid here.
They're dealing with a 2nd and long.
Moving down the field, Eric. 9 feet. It's a dot, boys. We're rolling, boys.
They'll give it to the back. Got enough for the first. And he's brought down after a nice game.
It's so nice as an offense to know you can generate explosive plays by handing the football off to this guy. He has got incredible speed.
The offense lines up at the 41 with a 1st and 10. The offense changing the play. Looking for a man. It's Alexander. Unloads to the wideout. Finds space on the right. He'll go out of bounds. They'll mark him down at the 31, and a big pickup on that one.
You know, it's one thing to have all the accolades preseason and have all the expectations, but it's another thing to be able to go out and execute week in, week out. He's done that. He now has over 1,500 receiving yards on the year.
Looking downfield on first down. Oh, they're after him. And the defense picks up a sack, getting the quarterback down at the 44. Quick timeout call by the offense after the play.
And they've been waiting for something good to happen with respect to getting after the quarterback, right? They're outside of the top 100 in the country in sacks per game, but finally now you see they're generating this pass rush. 3 sacks on the game so far.
They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down. Complete to the right. Finally corralled, but not before. He picks up the first down. Running out of time here in the first half. They're going to have to be efficient to put some points on the board before the break. Fires into the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Snagged in the end zone to give them 6.
Man, what great offensive execution. You talk about addressing a 2-minute situation and using almost all of the clock, adding to your lead and creating more momentum going into the half. Great execution by this offense.
Ready to try the point after. The kick is up and good and put one more on the lead. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. Kickoff unit back to work, and they have been busy as they've built this sizable lead. running out here in the first half. This offense will choose to take a knee. We've played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
And so much to break down from a spirited start to this Egg Bowl between Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And talk about a first half for the dude in that backfield. That coaching staff has been giving rave reviews on a weekly basis. And through 2 quarters today, he's been a complete game changer. He's breaking the will of this defense, and that's something that's just very tough to quantify. With that, let's throw it back to the guys to see how the fight between Mississippi State and Ole Miss plays out.
From inside his own 10, let's see what he gets. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, that they get him on the ground at the 20. Here comes the Bulldog offense back onto the field. Nothing went right in that first half, in the first order of business here. Try not to be embarrassed any further.
But the comeback is possible. Remember 2006, Michigan State down 35 to Northwestern at halftime? They somehow came back and won the game. But it all starts on one play, and that has to happen here on this first drive of the offense.
Yeah, the first possession, because your possessions, you're only going to get so many possessions, and you've got to score on every single one of them. Offense, defense, special teams have to play out of their mind, but they have to believe.
Handoff from the gut. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
I got to be honest, I am shocked at just how well the defense has played in this game, especially stopping the run. We talked about statistically how they've struggled this season, but they have put the clamps down in this one, and they're just playing with a ton of intensity.
On 3rd and long, you'll have to turn it loose deep. And the quarterback goes down at the 11-yard line.
And it's been a long day. I mean, there's not much to point out that this offense has done well. They're behind huge, and they got no shot if they can't somehow find a way to protect their quarterback.
Punt is in the air on 4th down. Wants to return it. And there he goes. Found a little running room on that one. Picked up some nice blocks before he's run out of bounds. The Ole Miss offense ready to go. football.
And it's been great execution. They've done exactly what they've wanted to do. Build the lead. Now Palmer's a different animal. Now you got to protect him.
You can tell they were paying attention in practice this week in the film room because they have gone out, everybody right now on the same page.
False start on offense.
So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. Quarterback making adjustments. Looking downfield. It's Alexander. They're working that left side. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks.
And running backs who can add to the passing game, they can be so dangerous because once they get the catch, they're operating in much more open space than they would be on a handoff. And it really also tests the linebacker's coverage ability and those DBs tackling them.
That throw and catch gets them down to the 6, and the defense is running out of answers.
Well, this defense is going to have to find a way to start mixing up their coverages. They're in a tough spot. They're down right now, so most people would think the opponent would be running the ball, but when you've had the success these guys have had throwing it, you're going to see more shot plays, and you better change your looks up to try and get a takeaway to get back in this game.
You see that a lot of times with Ole Miss. Big rivalry game against Mississippi State. Can they respond, Paul?
And Ole Miss, you know, is one of those teams you just blink and all of a sudden they're blowing you out. That's been the case here today. The Bulldogs got to find a way to slow them down.
The Mississippi State offense headed back to the field to go to work. They really didn't move the ball at all the last time they had it, hoping for better fortune this time around. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. Just too much of a rush, and down goes the quarterback just behind the midfield stripe at the 49.
They got more sacks than a grocery store. Goodness gracious, time and time again, getting to the quarterback, getting him on the ground. This defense having their way.
And the Bulldogs now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. Defense loves to show heat and try to confuse the quarterback. Out of the shotgun, they go to the ground. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the first down line?
And, man, the big fellas up front, they don't get a lot of credit. They don't get talked about a lot unless it's negative, but they're the big component, man. They've got to get some push, to get some running lanes, get this running game going. They're the ones that make it go.
They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. Motion from the wideout. Brown will throw it. Looking deep down the right side. And his first pass is incomplete.
This is a situation here in the 3rd quarter this offense did not want to be in, facing a top 10 defense, one of the best units in the entire country. They didn't want to get down on the scoreboard like this, and all of a sudden have to throw the football when the defense knew that was going to happen. The incompletion there is not a big surprise. This defense knows what's coming, and it's all because of the points right now on the scoreboard.
Ole Miss ready to send the offense onto the field. Off the play fake on first down. Fires to the wideout. Got his man downfield. And the explosive play, and they're on the move all the way to the 44.
There are a lot of offenses out there that will probably be a little bit more conservative when you've got a lead like this in the 3rd quarter. But when you've got the playmakers these guys have at the skill positions throwing the football, you should keep airing it out. And that's exactly what they're doing now.
think there's room to run to the right here. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7.
And I kind of like how the running back didn't mess around. Like, just get downhill when you see an opening. A lot of times they close so fast, man. Be decisive, stick your foot in the ground, pick up 3 to 4, and we are not going to complain.
Back to pass on 2nd down. Fires to the middle. Going downfield. Defense makes a stop, but the chains move, and it's 1st and goal from the 8.
And this defense is going to have their hands full because they're going to need to be comfortable with guys one-on-one on islands in the perimeter of the field, and they're just going to have to make better plays than what we saw right there. They knew this offense was going to try to be aggressive. Got to need better effort in the back end for this defense moving forward.
Looks as if he's going to run it. He pushes his way down to the 4 as they get closer and closer.
You know, I really like this QB running the football because I know he's got a lot of speed, but he's not the biggest guy in the world. So he's not going to be able to break a lot of tackles. He's really got...
Have a day, young fella. I foresee some social media posts in his future. Not 1, not 2, but 3 receiving touchdowns on the day. What a ball game.
And the extra point was good. After scoring that touchdown, they'll try to get it right back with an onside kick. He's able to grab the football, and the hands team gets the job done. Here comes the Mississippi State offense, ready to attack. They had to punt it away on their last possession, but man, what great field position this time.
I mean, this is awesome. Like, last possession didn't go great. Now you're set up in an opportunity to get some points. Start thinking about what plays I like, Jesse, as I cross the 50.
There are a lot of offensive coordinators out there, Dick.
Strong pass rush gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46.
When you talk about outstanding pass rushers, you're always talking about dynamic guys, and he's been that each and every week for this defense. Speed, he's got power, you just simply can't block him, and that last play is his 10th sack of the season.
Got it behind the line. It's Irvin. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
Nice job, defense. You always hear people talk about tackling the catch. You saw it right there. There was nowhere for that receiver to go once he had possession. As a result, no gain.
Offense breaks the huddle. It's 3rd down. Brown wants to pass. Didn't have much of a choice. Just had to throw that one away. It'll be 4th down.
And you thought maybe in this second half this offense could just find a rhythm, find something to take advantage of this defense, but the defense has really had their number, not putting up a lot of points, and again, an empty possession right there.
And they'll just down it right there. The Ole Miss offense ready to go back to work. They unleashed an aerial assault last time that took them right to the end zone, David.
So, Reese, with that drive, I think you've accomplished something you wanted to accomplish. Make this defense think. You put them back on their heels. Now, shoot, Palmer, you might be able to slip a few runs in on this drive to really jack them up.
Yeah, I like that idea, but I also like the fact that speed kills. They've got it at the receiver position, so if you've got one-on-one matchups, man, take advantage.
And for a defense, it's not always about sacks, but sometimes it's about getting that quarterback off his spot where he feels very comfortable, and they get him flushed outside of the pocket. And good perimeter defense. He rolls to the right. Everybody's still covering their guys, moving across the field with the QB. Nowhere to go with the football.
Grab over the middle. It's Watkins. Good call, good execution as they move the chains, and they have a 1st down at the 38.
A lot of smiles right now on this offense. They've got a big lead. They're just having fun out there. They're still throwing the football. These receivers are still getting open. Pass protection is still great. This quarterback's thinking to himself, man, I'm going to be padding my stats here in the second half of this game because everything we're dialing up is working.
And he does a really nice job finding open space and making a good gain before the stop is made.
I like this idea by the offense going hurry up here. You just had a very nice run. Let's get back up to the line of scrimmage and go fast.
Looking to throw, it's Brady. Going downfield for the big play. Brings it inside the 10. Gets it inside the 5, down to the 4, and it'll be first and goal.
This quarterback has found a really nice rhythm here on this drive. He just looks dialed in. He's doing a great job in the pre-snap, seeing the safety rotation, and that time saw the one-on-one matchup to take a shot, and he hit it. He's in a really, really nice groove right now.
The Rebels will try to punch it in on first and goal.
Ready.
It's complete on the right side. Touchdown, Rebels! And they take it in for 6 more points.
And this offense shows you why they are really hard to stop. A long, explosive run. You think everybody's thinking run, pile in the box. The play-action pass. They can beat you with the run. They can beat you with the pass. This is a tough offense to stop.
They were ready for the onside kick and executed perfectly, and they secure the football. Time winding down in the quarter as they come to the line. Coming out on first down with the play fake. Bringing the heat. With the catch, it's Irvin. There to make the tackle, and with that, we'll head to the fourth quarter. We've come to the end of the period, and Ole Miss is on top. And as we switch ends of the field, let's take a quick look at the national rankings. So will the beatdown continue, or is this a comeback for the ages in store? We'll see as we start the fourth. So first down, we'll open up the final period. Brown will throw it. Under pressure, and down he goes at the 33.
And the sack, and this offense has just struggled. They haven't done anything right, and they got a full quarter to go. Like, they got to find something in this next quarter to hang their hat on, something to leave with some positive vibes.
The Bulldogs have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Looking to fire. Makes the catch. It's Gresham. They bring him down, but a solid pickup to put them in position to pick up a first down. When a defense is in zone coverage, Jesse, they want to react. How do you react to a howitzer coming out like that one?
Not much you can do because this guy's got a cannon. You saw all the eyeballs on defense on that play. They were waiting and anticipating that throw, but when you've got an arm like that, it's going to be tough to stop that throw.
Fires to the middle. And trying to put points on the board on 3rd down. Now they're staring at 4th down.
And that's just the kind of game it's been for this quarterback in this offense. You got a great game plan all week long. You're watching it throughout practice. You think you're going to have a chance to light up the scoreboard, but they're just not able to hook up. You've got to give this defense a ton of credit. They've done a great job in coverage. They've been breaking on passes. They've had their number, and that's why they're leading by as much as they are.
And the kicker delivers the 3 ball to finish off the drive. And the field goal is good. They get 3 on the board, but it really doesn't matter much in terms of the deficit. So they are lining up to kick it off after that last drive. Put a 3 spot on the board, and now the defense will try to shut them down. Fielded in the end zone, it's Francis.
All right, not ideal. Right, not ideal. You're an offense. You want to get a good kickoff return, but you're starting in inside your own 10. Now come out, set the tone, get some high percentage completion. You might not go with that script you had because you thought you might have a little better field position, but you just get some few first downs, get that first down right now.
And the Rebels backed up deep in their own end, trying to create a little space on first down. Here's the handoff. Tough run across the 5. He'll get it all the way out to the 8-yard line. Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. Finds his man. It's Cunningham. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the first down.
You know, the defense, they just haven't been able to find an answer for this guy throughout the course of the game. Obviously, he's got 2 touchdowns, picks up the first down there. They've tried doubling him. They've tried man coverage, zone coverage. Nothing working on defense. They can't stop him.
Makes the stop at the 30, but a big 15-yard pickup gets him out of trouble.
Well, I love play callers that want to stay aggressive regardless of what the score is, regardless how much time is left on the clock. And I promise you this, there are a lot of fans, there are a lot of teams all across college football that are paying attention to what is happening right now.
The Rebels will have it 1st and 10. He'll keep it himself. There he goes. They bring him down, but the big play will move the sticks. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Rebels come to the line after ripping off that huge gain on the ground, trying to keep it going. Looking downfield, it's Brady. Working that left side now.
Again, this is a running back that can hurt you running it between the tackles, and he's dangerous out in space. They like to throw it to him out on the perimeter as he picks up a couple of yards there.
Motion from the wide receiver. 2nd down, he'll throw it. Throwing, looking right. He's got it. He was working his way toward that goal line. They'll stop him at the 2 after big play up top.
And they've been fun to watch today, man. Like, they're staying aggressive late in the game. They built a cushion. They built a lead. But you can just tell the confidence and the swagger they have. They've been able to do what they want today, take care of business. And this is an offense that I think is going to continue to grow.
Well, I think these guys have gone completely mental. They have lost their minds. The punt team is on the field, and they're in the red zone. Here comes the Bulldog offense back onto the field. Jesse, they had to kick a field goal the last time they had it.
Yeah, and oftentimes early in games, to find your rhythm. Some things work, some don't on that first drive, David. It'd be interesting to see what happens here on the 2nd drive.
Yeah, you got a feel for the defense now. You understand what they're trying to do, what their game plan is. Now you get to go into phase 2 of your game plan.
And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down.
And his passing attack has not been great today. It hasn't found a way to manufacture those big plays and to scare this defense. And now, in passing situations, trailing, this is a tough spot for this offense.
Right back to the air on 2nd and 10. He's got him this time. Racing to the right. And that tackle almost certainly saved a touchdown. He ripped off a huge gain. And Jesse, there's a huge mountain to climb here, but you might as well start with a chunk play.
Well, you got to start somewhere, Reese. It's been tough going for this offense all game long. They find themselves in a hole, but I love the aggressive nature. Keep taking shots. Keep trying to claw your way back into this one.
Brown wants to pass. Quarterback can't pull the trigger, and down he goes at the 41.
This defense has taken the game over. They're winning the game in large
stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. Let's take just a minute and talk about Mississippi State. He's been under pressure all season, and they really haven't done much to turn down that heat. And it's just hard to imagine that this guy will be back leading this program next year.
Yeah, you want to see him finish strong, and I think Coach needs to finish strong. All the negativity swirling around the program, obviously, you hear it. It's a part of it. The kids hear it, but finishing strong would kind of ease some of that.
Nowhere to go but on down. He goes at the 39.
He has been terrorizing quarterbacks all year long. That now his 10th sack of the season. He's got speed. He's got power. He's going to play on Sundays, and he is not cooperating with this offense's game plan.
The official says no good. The idea was to draw just a tad closer. Instead, the mountain is still enormous. Ole Miss ready to send the offense onto the field. They missed an opportunity to extend this lead the last time they had it, Jesse.
Yeah, they got to be able to regain that momentum, right? Go back to what was working earlier on in this one.
Oh, he's got some space. They finally get to him. A what a play there to pick up the first down.
And I think as a running back, if you're this guy, you're licking your chops right now. This is what you want, right? You've got a big lead in the fourth quarter, and you're smiling because you know you are going to get the rock. They're going to force feed you the football to try and ice this game. And he's paying him off right now. That's a really nice run.
They've got it inside the 30 at the 28. First down. They'll keep it on the ground to keep this clock moving. And he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by the big defensive tackle.
Well, that play didn't stand a chance. I mean, nobody even blocked that guy. And he's able to get the tackle for loss.
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10.
Let's get juice!
Quarterback on the keeper. Oh, he scoops his way to the first down and then slides to avoid the hit.
Man, it's so nice to have a QB that can do that can run and make plays when you need it. Late in the football game, trying to run this clock out, preserve the win. He picks up the big first down and keeps the clock moving.
Boy, they had a chance to track that thing down, but it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. The Mississippi State offense headed back to the field to go to work. This has been a really disappointing performance, David, no question about that, but they can find some positive.
Yeah, and every time you watch the tape, you know, Jesse, coaches are pointing out, look at this. This was open if we'd have just ran the details to the right route, hung on to the football. Little things can make a big difference.
Yeah, that's why they call it a game of inches, David. But I'll say this, if you're on offense, don't go on social media this week. It ain't going to be pretty after this performance. You've got to lock in. You got to take the week of practice very seriously and find those positives that you can build off, David, that you're talking about.
Still at their own 20 after that last incompletion. It's 2nd and 10. From the gun, running back on the move. Fighting off the defender. Brought down at the 31 after a pickup of 10 yards on that one.
Yeah, and a nice big pickup on the ground. Palmer, you could have used some of this earlier in the game. Are you calling runs at this point?
No, I'd be a little bit more aggressive, I think, throwing it. I think part of it right now is because the defense, they've got the lead big. They're just playing a little bit more zone, a little bit more prevent. They're fine letting this offense just chip down the field, but they're wasting time off the clock.
Just working and poking and prodding and finding his way up to the 36.
offense at this point now, they're just trying to limit the damage. They want to get out of here and move on, turn the page to the next game because things just have not been going their way, throwing or running the football.
Got his man. Brought down at the 46, but he got 10 on the play.
And that's why the bullet pass is so important. Sometimes these defenses, they don't give you big windows to throw into, and you want to take that chance, but you cannot lob that football down the field and get it in there. Nice use of the bullet pass, my friend.
Brown will throw it. And the quarterback runs out of time, and down he goes at the 38. Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll go to the sideline and try to make adjustments. The Bulldogs with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. Lost the fire on second down. And the defense gets loose, bringing the heat, and down he goes again. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. Now third and long and trying to play catch-up in more ways than one after that earlier sack. Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. So Mississippi State will have to punt this one away. He's going to try to flip the field with this one. Coverage team does a good job and touches it dead. No return on this one. The Ole Miss offense ready to go back to work. This is quickly turning into a celebration, Jesse, as they've taken control of this game.
And they should feel good about how they played. They knew they had to come in here and protect home turf. They've gone out, they've run it well, they've thrown it well, David. Really, so much that this coaching staff can be happy about.
Yeah, and now it's about stat padding, right? Like you can just put up more numbers. You know this game's pretty good. Don't turn it over. Don't make a mistake. This game is well in hand.
The Rebels in the hurry-up. That's caught. It's Cunningham. They'll get the timeout with 5 seconds remaining to play.
This is the one, boys. Here we go.
And here we go. Final play of the game right here. He'll ride his man on the option.